We have structure today, though.
Do we? As much structure as we can have.
Yeah, it's more than last one.
Yeah, it's definitely better.
Last episode was just like, okay, holiday stuff, go.
No, we literally didn't even do any pre-talks like we normally do. Like, we were just like,
Yeah.
Holidays? Holidays. Yes."
Yeah, that was literally it. Okay, well, what are you reading, Drew?
I'm reading A Rivalry of Hearts by Tassonja Odette. I hope that's how you say her name. Tassonja Odette?
I
Um,
think, yeah, I think.
I actually it's so funny. So I just finished Split and Swallow last night. It was my last book of 2024. And, this morning, I was, like, scrolling Instagram, and I saw one of her posts about A Rivalry of Hearts, and it was, like, the MMC said, like, "Well, why don't you use me for your, research?" And I was like, "Oh my god, hot." And I looked at the title, and I was like, "No, no fucking way, I think I have that book." And I went to my TBR shelf, and I had the Butterfly Book Box edition, so I started reading it, and it's so cute, and it's so fun.
Nice.
What are you reading?
I, for the first time in a very long time, I'm not currently reading anything. Split or Swallow is my next read, though. Jenny got it for me for Christmas as a gift. So it's my next read.
Love. You have
Yeah,
to update us on that,
I will.
it's fucking insane.
I will. And I just finished, wrapped up the Broken Kingdoms,
Ooh.
which, like, specifically the last two books of that series are, without going into spoilers, you think you spend the entirety of the series in one world, and then the last two books flips everything you know on its head. And it's even
Mhm.
weirder coming from reading the Everseas books first, because if people don't know, they take place in the same world, but about 10 years after the Broken Kingdoms wraps up. Um, and so you know all of these things about the world based off of that, and then you go into the Broken Kingdoms and things are completely different. And there were some differences that I didn't register until they were talking about the changes. It was a very interesting read. It was fun. I loved it.
I love that series, she does amazing world building, like,
Yeah.
absolutely insane how she takes something from book 1 and, like, 6 books later, it, like, comes back around, it's like, "Oh my god."
I think her worlds have some of my most favorite magics of any fantasy world I've ever visited. The way that she built her magic system is incredible.
Mhm. I love it.
What about you, Nancy? What are you reading?
I am almost done with The Lost God. I just checked. I'm at 70%. And I also started reading my arc of by the Sharpened Shadowed Wings by Rachel N. Harker. Which I'm at 20 something percent and I'm loving it so far. As well. So those are the two I'm actually like focused on right now. Um,
Very good.
but
You're always reading like 50 books at once.
yeah, according to my Goodreads, that's what I'm doing. But I like I just jump around. Um,
When I was
but
doing that, I just kept getting confused about what world I was in. I was like, what the fuck's even happening?
I've never had trouble like keeping books separate in my head. I just have trouble because there's so many books I want to read. Um, and so like especially with arcs, I'll like start a new arc when it hits my Kindle, unless it's like I know I have a bunch back to back, then I'll be like, no, I can't start this new one until I finish this one. Um, but I don't know. It's probably just the ADHD.
Probably. Um, I know we're focusing on 2025 stuff, but can we share something we were really proud we accomplished this last year in 2024?
Like, anything or bookish related?
Anything if you want. I meant bookish related, but you can if your
Oh,
other parts of your life are way better than this, Drew, that's fine.
maybe. Okay, fine. Okay, bookish related. I I never really have, like, a reading goal because that stresses me out, but I read over 150 books last year, and I thought that was pretty cool. Um, and personally, as you know, I got out of a long-term relationship, and I am proud of myself for that.
Yeah, I'm proud of you too.
Thank you.
What about you, Nancy?
uh, I think the biggest bookish thing that I'm proud of from 2024 is starting and sticking with writing my book. And I've written I wrote 32,000 words over the course of last year, which the goal was to have like the first draft finished by the end of the year, which I am, a good ways away from that. But 30 over 30,000 words is a lot, especially since this is the first like novel length work I've ever like tried to do. Um so like that's a lot, and I'm definitely proud of myself for that.
Yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome. What about you, Harley?
I started a whole ass merch business,
Yeah, you
and
did.
I sell over 100 pieces of merch, and I think I've got 12 authors in my shop currently. So I'm really excited to see, and I'm expanding it to new products this next year, so I'm really excited about that. And I mean, I guess my non-bookish one is I quit some things that were really like not good for me. Like I had my other podcast, and there was like photography clients that I was still working with that just like really weren't serving me where I'm at right now in life. And so I put those projects on hold until and if I'm ready to circle back to them.
Awesome. That's
Yeah,
good.
I'm proud of
That's good for
I'm
you.
proud of myself for that one. Thank you.
Also, another one that is kind of a joint thing, but we all started a podcast in 2024.
Oh my god, and we kept it going. We're in
Yeah.
2025 now.
Yeah.
When did we start it?
Um uh,
Great question.
Maybe it
I
was in the spring.
was it? Yeah, it was like this spring or early summer, I think. It was like April or May, I think.
I'm gonna go look at our Spotify and see when our
Yeah,
first
that's what
episode
I was
came out.
pulling up to.
Oh, I was gonna look and see when you made this Discord server.
Oh,
Oh,
that
that's
would work
smart.
too.
Okay, wait, our first episode was published on May 3rd.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, probably started in early spring then. Oh my god,
Yeah.
almost a year.
We're almost at a year. We should try to plan something fun for our 1 year.
Oh, that would
We
be
can
cool.
do another listener question episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. That's a good
That
idea.
one's like by far our most popular.
We'll drop some more lore about ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. The gift that keeps on giving.
Right?
Speaking of things we did in 2024, what are some things we're excited for in 2025? Like, do we have reading goals? Because I know mine is just to pick up more of the books that I already have on my shelves. Like, I'm subscribed to several book boxes, and I pick up books in the store when I think they have an interesting cover, or if I recognize them or they're my friend's book or whatever. But I don't then often pick them back up to read them at my house. Um, and I decided that I need to be better about doing that.
I have that as one of my reading goals for 2025. Another one is to not get caught up in, like, the social media of it all, like, just in terms of, like, sometimes I'll see a popular book and I'll just, like, buy it because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, I wanna read that." And then, like, the pile just grows and I never read it, and or, like, subscribing to book boxes, and I, like, subscribed to so many book boxes last year. I'm, like, canceling a bunch of them. It's just, like, I'm just gonna read the things I wanna read and get through
Yeah.
my physical TBR, and, like, if I get FOMO, I get FOMO, it's fine. I'll be fine.
I think that's a good goal. I actually am a little bit like in the same boat. Like I'll keep the couple of subscriptions that I have probably because I really like the businesses and I really like the people who run those businesses, so I want to continue to support them. And I have like we've said before, we've got friends books coming out in those boxes specifically, so we want to continue to
Mhm.
support them. But like there's a couple things where I'm like, "Oh my god, I need this. I need this." No, I don't.
Mhm.
Mhm.
No, I'm probably okay if I don't get
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all have the like read the books that we already own in common. Um I also like I mentioned I'm like always reading like a bunch of books at once. I've seen Brie do this on her Instagram where she'll like do this thing where she tries to finish all the books she's currently reading in a set amount of time. I might need to do that at some point. But I do want to try to keep that more under control this year if possible. And I also want to I want to focus on, you know, diversifying my reading a bit more, and also it kind of goes hand in hand is reading more banned books. Um writing friend from one of the like writing challenges I did last year. They set up a banned book club, which if anyone listening is interested in, they made a whole server for it and stuff, so I can send that in our server. Um, if anyone's wanting to be a part of that. And so they're, doing a banned book each month. Like there's a different theme. So January's theme is dystopian, and they're doing 1984 was the book that was voted for this month.
Nice.
Um, and I also like I want to read more classics. I have pretty copies of some classics that I'm like I want to read this at some point, and then I just never pick them up. So that kind of goes hand in hand with read the books I own as well.
Yeah.
But I do want to read more classics as well, and diversify the genres I read as well.
I agree that I also need to read more diversely, and I mean, I'm not going to diversify my genres. I have like no interest in doing that particularly, but the authors that I'm reading, like I was looking at the books that I read in 2024 and I was like, this is just a big old list of my most fave white authors. And I think that I could do better. So that's one of my other goals for 2025 is to like be a little bit more mindful of the stories that I'm prioritizing because I got like 600 books on my TBR. Like I can be a little more mindful of the books that I'm prioritizing and making sure that I'm not just like only picking certain books.
Yeah.
I love that. I think I also have, like, reading, more diverse books on my list, but, it's kind of like both of yours, so, like, reading books by authors of varying ethnicities and whatnot. I have this book that I haven't finished yet by, like, this Filipino author that I was really enjoying, and I keep forgetting about it. Um, and I wanna read more, like, horror and
Mm,
psychological thrillers. Like, I used to be very, very into psychological thrillers, and I kind of forgot about them, and I wanna be scared in 2025.
Drew, I've got a whole bunch. I'll send you pictures of my list. Maybe some of them will be on KO and we can buddy read them. Because
Oh my god, yes.
I picked up a bunch from my local library book sale because I didn't have a ton of fantasy and thriller slash horror slash books that'll just like scare the shit out of me. That's my second favorite genre.
I haven't read any horror this year, and I was like, I think I need to because it's
Um,
fun.
I read a couple of like fantasy horror books, and then I read Coraline at Halloween,
Oh,
which it's
fun.
technically a children's book. It is so much creepier as an adult because I think the first time I read it was around the time the movie came out. I think the movie came out in like 2012,
I feel like
perhaps.
that sounds right.
Um, and I was an adult already, but the perspective I had at like 18 is much different than the one I have at 31.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was not the vibe. Okay, let's talk about the releases we're excited for in 2025. And before we do that, I saw Nancy, you specifically mentioned our friend Val's book that
Mm.
releases in February. And I know all three of us are really excited about her book. So I just wanted to take a second to like mention it before we hop into like our individual books that we're excited about. It's called Tender Teeth, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that one. My little sister actually has been getting into poetry, so I'm gonna get that for her when it
Cool.
comes out too.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, I'm excited to get it and read it and have it in my little library in my house.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, the other two, I have a whole ton of books that I'm really, really excited for in 25, but I don't want to say like my top two because that just like sounds like I'm not as excited for other ones, but I just picked two of them that I'm incredibly excited for because they wrap up their respective series. It's Burn of
Mm.
the Everflame by Penn Cole, and then Nicole Plantania's final Curse of Ophelia book, which we don't have the name for yet. So those are the two that are wrapping up their series that I'm really excited about.
I'm really excited for those 2. I I picked a few. Like you said, there's a ton that I'm excited for. These were just the ones that were, like, top of mind that you guys don't have on your list since, I saw what you guys put. But I'm really excited for very, very excited for A Legacy of Stars by Sheila Masterson.
I'm so
Um,
excited, but I'm not ready. You know what I mean?
yeah, I feel like this book won't hurt as badly as her Lost God series, especially from what she's told us, but I'm really excited, and I feel like I'm manifesting her to be inspired to keep writing in this world, so it's not just a standalone and it becomes a second series like, a la LJ Andrews with the Ever King, like, that's what I'm manifesting
Okay,
right now.
fine.
Um, I'm also really excited for I'm still in my hockey era. I'm excited for Chelsea Curto's 2 DC Stars books to come out. She posted this, carousel of all of the upcoming books in the DC Stars series, and they look so good. I'm so excited. And then I'm excited for Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver. It should be the last book in that series. And lastly, The Broken Souls and Bones by LJ Andrews, because 'cause I'm obsessed with her.
I'm obsessed with her as well. And I've heard that's really good because we've got a couple friends who got arcs of it and they
Yes.
came back saying it was like a 10 out of 10.
I'm very jealous, but also, like, I don't have the space in my brain for an arc, so I'm kinda glad I didn't get chosen.
And then the releases, I just picked like the ones that are front of mind right now. So all three of these are like January, February releases. Um, Helen's Iron and Embers. That's this month, right? That it releases.
February, like
Oh, it's
February
February.
6th, I think.
Okay, cool. It's a little
Yeah,
bit longer. I was like,
just
I
a month
couldn't
away.
remember. But I'm really excited about that one, and also by the Sharpened Shadowed Wings, which I mentioned I'm reading an arc of, but I'm super excited for it to be released and to have a copy of it. And also a new one that's on my radar, It's called With Love the Stars by T.W. Knight and A.E. Bratchford. I think I'm saying that right. Um, that one I came across from one of the writing servers I'm in. Uh, one of the authors, Theory, the first author I named, they shared the cover art because they designed it themselves, and I'm like, I need to know more about this book because it's gorgeous. Um, so that one's one I'm excited about. That's, I think Valentine's Day is when that one releases.
Fun.
Cute.
And I think that just leaves us with our superlatives. So we decided to do some superlatives for books that we read this last year, just for something that's fun and different because we've never done those before. So we can just go through, I think, them one by one and then just each name off the one that we picked, if that's cool. Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay. So let's start with top read of the year. Drew, what did you say?
I said the entirety of the Lost God series because I'm pretty sure I read it like 3 times this year.
You did read it a lot of times. What did you pick,
And I
Nancy?
and I loved it.
I had trouble picking, but I went with Scourged. I was tempted to put Threaded slash Scourged for that one, which if Drew's saying the entire Lost God series, I think I might just go with
Yeah.
both. Um, but that one really stuck with me. I read a lot of really good books, so it's hard to pick just one favorite, but that's what I'll say.
Yeah, I read over 100 books that I really, really liked this year. So picking was really hard. But I picked The Myths of Ophelia, which is book number 4 in Nicole's series, or The Mist Thief by L.J. Andrews, which is by
Ooh.
far, like far and away, my favorite of all of the books by her that I've read is The Mist Thief.
Did you read that, The Mist Thief before or after The Broken Kingdoms?
Before. So I read the 3 Everseas books, and then months and months later, Garrett wound up with an extra copy of The Mist Thief, and she just sent it to me. I hadn't even read the Everseas books yet, and she sent it to
Oh,
me.
that's sweet.
Yeah. Because I was like, Jenny was like, you need to read it, you need to read it, you need to read the Everseas. And I was like, okay, I will. And then it was like the next day or whatever, Garrett was like, I have an extra copy. Harley wants it. And I was Harley wants it. um, and I did. I didn't know, but I really, really did. I loved it.
So good. I wanna reread the Everking series, now that I've read Broken Kingdoms because I feel like a lot more things are gonna make sense, and I feel like the relationships are just gonna be that much cuter.
I do too, but I need to wait until after Romanticycon because my first 2 months of this year are going to be focused on reading books by authors that are going to be at that event.
Oh, good idea. That's nice.
Yeah.
I tried to do that with, Sinners and Stardust too, and I ended up well, that's how I ended up falling in love with LJ's whole series as she was gonna be there, and I binged her entire backlog.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring I've got, I think my Everseas are all signed. If they're not, I'm bringing, but I got of Mischief and Mages, I think is the name of the book.
Oh. Mhm.
I got that for Christmas, so that's gonna come with and get signed.
Love.
Or wait, is she at Romanticy?
Yeah, yeah, she will be.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I can't keep my convention straight. Okay, so a character that we saw grow in their story. Um, I picked Rainer McKay from The Lost God, like from where we meet him at the beginning of The
Mhm.
Lost God to where we end at the end of the Godless Kingdom, like insane growth.
Mhm. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Um, I picked Auron from the Plated Prisoner series. I
Ooh, okay.
so I probably told you guys, but I did finish Goldfinch, and looking at her character development from book 1 to book, what is it, 6 or 7, it's just insane. She is a completely different person, and I love how Raven built her character, and
I mean, even just because I've only read the first 4, even just from book 1 to book 4, she's completely different.
mhm, mhm.
I was just looking at it. I'm like, I'm second guessing what I put. For I wanted to pick one that wasn't a main character because, like, yeah, the main characters are gonna grow a lot in, especially in like some of the series. But I picked Ren from the Legends of Thesmar series because I felt like as a side character she went through a lot of development, and I'm excited to see her as a main character in the new series as well.
I agree. I think actually Helen did a really phenomenal job of making every single character that we
Mm-hmm.
spent like any substantial amount of time with had like massive growth in that series.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. Next we have most likely to win Survivor, like the TV show Survivor, not just to like survive stuff.
What?
And
Well, I don't remember like how that show works, so I don't have one picked yet.
okay, so how a Survivor works is that you go and you're basically like there's like I don't know 16 people or 18 people or something like that. And you're split into tribes and then you compete and then the one tribe who loses basically goes to like tribal council and someone gets voted out by the other members of the tribe. And then like once they get down to like 12, the members start forming a jury to pick from the final 2.
Okay.
So, yeah, so like it's really a game of like who is good at the game, but like all is good at like manipulating the relationships and playing the game. Does
Mm.
that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
There's, like, a physical component and then, like, a social component.
Yeah,
So, you can't just pick someone that is physically gonna win.
Right.
Like, they also have to be socially adept enough to not get voted off.
yeah. And I said Elise Ferris from the Broken Kingdoms.
Ooh, that's a good
I
one.
think, yeah, because while she's, I think she's technically human, but she's,
Mhm. Well, it depends
um,
which version of her, because she does that whole spoiler alert, she does, like, that whole ceremony thing to
yeah,
extend her life.
because once they're bonded, has her life extended
Mhm.
as long as her husband's alive.
Yeah. But I guess she's
Um,
still technically human.
but we see she's like very, very much mortal. Like in the Everseas, she can't go through. This is also a
Mm.
spoiler for a light, very, very light spoiler for the Everseas, but she can't go through the chasm
Mhm.
because it'll kill her. So she's not immortal like the way the Fae are, or she's not as durable as the Fae are in that world. But she earns her queenship in her own right in that story. And everyone else's like point of view, whenever anyone else in that world talks about her, it's always with like respect and love and like kindness. Like no one hates her. So I think she would do really well.
I like that answer. I chose Kip from The Legends of Thesmar.
I almost chose him.
Oh, that's a really good choice.
I think he would do so well at Survivor. I
Yeah,
love
I
Survivor,
agree.
and I'm just, like, imagining him in it. I think it'd be so
It
fun to watch him play the social
would.
game.
It absolutely would.
Right? And he'd easily be able to win physically. So,
Yeah.
by the time it gets to the end where he's becoming a real threat, he'd be able to win the immunity and not get voted off.
Mm.
Yeah. I've got a runner up that like you guys can be like, yeah, of course. I would say Quentin from Threaded
Oh, yeah.
would
Yeah,
be
definitely.
yeah. And
He'd be
he
good at
like
the social game too.
yeah, and he's scrappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm thinking Selena's probably gonna be my pick.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Are you in the middle of Throne of Glass right now, like the first book?
No, I've only read Assassin's Blade. I'm gonna probably, as much as the library loans let me, I'll probably like try to switch between that and The Lost God. Since the Memory Curse is out, I might on audiobook, I might start that one after I finish The Lost God. And then whenever Throne of Glass is available as an audiobook for me, I'll start that one.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree also that she would be an interesting contender, but I think people would pick up on her savagery. I don't know if that's the right
Yeah.
word. She's just a little too at the at the front. Her viciousness shows. She
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
like.
true.
Yeah.
Like, she'd get voted off, like, she'd be such a big threat, they'd vote her off early.
Yeah.
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 I think another good runner-up is Talamir from Legends of Thesmar as well.
I think he would do a very good job.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good one. The next one is most likely to accidentally get famous. Harley, what's yours?
I said I've got two choices. Because I've got an on accident choice and an on purpose choice. So the on accident, I said Case Erickson from The Broken Kingdoms would go
Oh, I
viral.
thought you meant the
Accident.
book, not the character.
Oh, I guess I mean, that works too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can. I mean, you can pick a book. I picked characters because I thought it would be funnier.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Um,
pick characters now. Well,
and
Oh my god,
then
Case would accidentally go viral, and he'd be so pissed about it,
he would
and
hate it.
his kids would love it.
Yes. And then I said Tolik on purpose.
Yes.
Vincenzo, is that how you say his last name?
Yeah.
Yeah. He would be so pleased with himself if he went viral.
Okay, my character's in a similar vein as Tolik. I picked Xander from the Lost God series. I think that boy would be out there posting thirst traps on the daily. He'd be like, you know that guy that posts those, like, thirst trap videos of, like, him playing guitar? It'd be, like, in that
Yes.
same vein, and he'd get really popular.
Okay, actually, that's really funny that you mentioned him because forever ago, like this was probably between when the Storm King and the Godless Kingdom released. So in around the time probably we started this podcast, it might have been a little bit earlier. I made a post on Instagram about which main male characters would definitely have an OnlyFans, and Xander was the one of.
Yes, and he
Yeah,
would.
he
And
would.
he would be making so much money,
He'd be
and
thriving.
he'd donate it all because he's a king and he doesn't need it.
Um, okay, Nancy, do you have a pick?
I'm a little. I think Quentin probably would. Um,
Oh yeah,
That's a good one.
I was also thinking maybe Aiden and Kai from the Elementals of Iona duology,
you
like
guys.
together.
Yes. Okay. Do you guys know there's a couple that go by John and Alex on TikTok, and they make like really funny couples content.
Don't recognize the name,
I will.
but if I saw them, maybe.
I'll send. I'll find them and I'll send a video in the server. That would be Kai and Aiden. They would just make really funny, snarky couples content that was like beautifully shot.
That's true though, they would.
Yeah. Okay. The cutest couple that never was. Drew, who did you pick?
Oh my gosh!
Why? Tell us yours
Didn't
first.
read these correctly. I do have an answer though.
Okay, Nancy, you tell us first.
This one, it was. Oh, shoot. Now I'm blanking on names. Hold on. Come back to me.
Okay, I'm gonna be so for real. I couldn't think of any, um, and I fear that I have put The Lost God far too many times on this superlative list, but the only one that I could think of was, Cece and Samson. I don't know, like, coulda
That's a good
been,
one.
coulda been.
That is a good one. That would have been hot. That would have been so
Coulda
hot.
been hot, coulda been so hot.
Okay, I said Gage and Leah from The Dagger and the Forbidden Heir.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
and my second one is Feyre and Cassian from ACOTAR.
Oh my god.
Okay,
I
so
don't know if I like
I
that.
I'll defend it. Once Nancy shares, I'll defend it.
mine was Bree and Jade in the Elementals of Iona duology.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they
Oh.
had
Yeah.
a lot of really good chemistry.
They did, but I think Jade is ace.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah. Which doesn't mean they can't be a couple,
Yeah,
actually.
they could still be a couple.
But that's not what I meant to imply by my comment. But Bree is like very much like a sexual person.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's very
Yeah.
interested in
But they
sex.
definitely do have chemistry.
They do, yeah.
They do.
Okay, Jade has chemistry with everybody, I'm not gonna lie.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Jade's hot.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me explain my favorite Cassian choice, please. And we're pretending that the other relationships do not have like mating bonds, that they're free to
Yeah.
do whatever. Feyre says in A Court of Mist and Fury, when they're on their way, I think, to the Weaver, she makes a mention that she would like to invite Cassian to her bed. That canonically happens. Also,
Okay,
the
okay.
other thing is I think Cassian, at least in the original trilogy, and I have some thoughts about his behavior in later books, but in the original trilogy, he over and over and over again such emotional intelligence, and that's why they become such good friends, is because he's like very emotionally connected. And I think that's why he forms other relationships that he forms with other people in his life. I just think that that would have been an option. They would, and I think it would have worked out if there wasn't other mating bonds.
Hmm. Okay, okay. It's not completely absurd.
Also, we all thought about the Sweat Lodge. We all thought about it. It was the why choose that we decided.
Listen, SJM really could have made it a why choose, and she didn't, and that's okay, but that's what the
It's
fanfics
not
are for.
okay. It is. Okay. The next one is the biggest gossip.
Who'd you pick?
Rowan Whitethorn.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
He's just and he's in Throne of Glass. I think we meet him in Heir of Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he is hands down one of my favorite characters in the entirety of the series. But he just spills everyone's drama. They're in constantly.
True. No, true.
Yeah.
I picked Poet from Foolish Kingdoms.
Ooh. Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
He gives big gossip vibes. We all know it.
My second one was Finnick Odair. I didn't list him, but he's my other one.
Oh,
He's
that's a good
got
one too.
everyone's secrets. He doesn't gossip like canonically, but he could be the biggest gossip.
Yeah.
What book is he from?
The Hunger Games?
Oh, Finnick. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I was
Yeah, I
like, why
can
does that name
totally see
sound
that one.
familiar?
You're like, I don't know him. Nancy, who you picking?
I feel like Kip would be a big gossip too.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
I would like pay big money to see him and Finnick in the same room. Okay, and then our next set of superlatives, I think all came from Jax.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Who's our sweetest, most talkative angel. Okay. Most likely to make you want to reach in and neck. And she sent 3 different versions. So villain, best friend, and then like secondary character. So who wants to go first?
I think for the villain one, we probably should just say the book and not the villain necessarily for spoilers' sake. Unless you want to say the villain names.
We can say just the book. Mine is from The Dagger and the Forbidden.
I'm trying
Okay,
to
we
think.
know.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's set up
mine.
as a villain from the time we meet him, though, so it's not.
That's true. Mine, the series is the Plated Prisoner series, and
Oh, yes.
the villain changes throughout, so it's the first, like, main villain.
The male one.
Yeah.
Okay. Nancy, who are you picking?
I'm trying to decide.
You have two?
I think so. Though I guess one of them it's more like the antagonist and not the true villains.
Okay.
Which is in Threaded. The other option is the villain in Forever Rain.
I would agree with that one. But I mean both, but
Yeah.
specifically Rain. Okay, and then I picked for the second part, I picked a best friend edition. And there is a best friend whose arc in Fourth Wing and Iron Flame together made me want to bring his fucking neck.
That's a good one, that's a good one.
I might just second that one because I can't think of a better one.
I I don't think mine is a spoiler, so I'm just gonna say her name, Danica from Crescent City.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'd bring her neck too.
Right? I saw BFF and immediately I was like, "That bitch Danica." And I say bitch lovingly.
Oh, yeah. Did either of you guys pick any additional? I did not.
I did not.
Additional what?
Secondary characters?
I
I
couldn't think of any.
don't have any now.
Okay. So I said the next one is most likely to have an animal sidekick that will get into trouble, cause mischief. And I said the Alabath sisters from the Curse of Ophelia series.
That's a good one.
I'm trying to remember ones that I read with animal sidekicks.
I know, I really couldn't remember one. The only one I could think of was for the last animal question. Um,
Yeah.
so I was just gonna say the same thing as you, Harley.
Okay, perfect.
I feel like Endarna probably would, but I don't know if dragons
She
count.
would.
Oh, that counts. No, no, you know what? That's a
She
good one.
counts.
That does count. That counts.
She's a fucking shit stirrer.
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean, she's also a child, so
She's just
Yeah,
a
and she's a fucking
teen.
shit stirrer.
yeah.
She is, she is.
We don't need our allies. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. The it makes you want to ask Jackie to make it into a cuddly crocheted creature. Go ahead, Drew.
I chose I don't think this is a spoiler. I chose Moth from Flame and Sparrow by SM Gaither. I think he'd be so cute.
I haven't read it.
I think you'd enjoy it. It's a duology and it's finished, so
I own them both. I just haven't read
oh.
it.
Well, good thing one of your goals for this year is to read your physical TBR.
Yeah. Nancy, what did you say?
I'm trying to think of one.
Okay.
Because I can't think of any that have like fantasy sidekicks, so it's like just normal animals.
I think that's okay.
Like Mariah's horse, Cody. I think that's how you say the name.
Oh, that'd be cute.
So I'll go with that one.
I said, okay, so in the God's Blessed Bride series, there's a critter that we meet in book that stayed with us through most of the series. He doesn't have a name. He's just called the and it is
Wait, he's
a
called the
little
what?
little mouse.
Oh,
And he's just a cute little mouse that just hangs out with our main female character.
that's cute.
Which if y'all haven't read those books, you should. Add them to your list.
Adding to the never-ending list.
Okay, great. Okay, who is a character that character or book that makes you cry?
Mine for this last year was The Godless Kingdom, because I probably cried the most reading that book. Like, happy
I
and sad tears.
Yeah, I similarly picked a book from the same series. I picked The Storm King, which centers on Xander, which that book probably made me cry more than any other this year.
Oh.
I feel like a lot of books made me cry this year, but I wanted to pick one that I haven't mentioned yet during all of this, so I put The Song of Achilles, which is
Oh.
like famous for making people cry. um,
I tried to not pick the same books, but I picked the same books for everything.
Yes, same, same.
Um, okay, made you want to throw your Kindle. And mine are I've got the book, but I also have the thing, but it's not specific enough to really be a spoiler. I've got 3 things.
Okay.
So, makes you want to throw my Kindle is miscommunication for our main characters in The Shards of Ophelia.
mm.
I also wanted to reach in next, respectfully, in a nonviolent way. Um, and then Zayden's bullshit ask a question situation that he had going
Oh yeah.
almost through my book. Um, and then lastly, there is an identity related twist in Lore of the Wilds that we get, and I didn't see it coming and I was shocked. I was like, no, through my book again.
I chose Fate and Furies by Helen Troyer,
Oh,
um,
that's a
because I
good
just
one.
remember getting to the ending of that and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, me too. Oh my god, me too.
Yeah, I remember that too. I think I put 2. I put Scourged and also both Long Live and Forever Rain because I remember specifically the end of Long Live and then multiple moments throughout Forever Rain um gave me those moments.
What was one of the ones in Forever Rain that made you want to?
I think it was the like actual villain reveal. Like I had suspicions about it, but like even then when they showed up, I was still like, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, and then the very last one, because you guys don't have any additional ones. It's just this one last one, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. The last one is that made you giggle, and I named the character and the book because it was very, very
Mm.
funny, and it was Carry On from Quicksilver.
Oh, I need to read that one still. I keep hearing such good things.
Drew, it is so fucking funny.
Mick listened to the audiobook and she said it was really good, and I wanna listen to the audiobook. I picked, as you could guess, a hockey romance, Fall With Me by Becca Mack. It's so cute. Loved it. Grand old time.
And I put Seducing Scylla for that one.
Oh yeah, fun. I forgot about that. Perfect. Well, dang, we did it in an hour, you guys.
We're getting so concise.
Yeah. Oh, we
Nice.
didn't. I was gonna say we didn't pick an author corner, but also we did a lot of like shouting out different authors. So
Yeah, I think we don't need to do one because we talked
yeah,
the entire time about our favorite
yeah.
authors.
That's
So
true.
they're all the author corner today. It's
Perfect,
Yes,
a
perfect.
crowded author corner this
it
week.
is. It's an author office
Yeah.
convention, truly.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Is there anything else before we go?
Uh, thank you guys for listening to us through 2024. I think we all appreciate it, and I know I'm definitely surprised at the number of people who actually listen to us talk shit on a podcast.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We're happy you're
Thank you
here.
guys.
Okay. We'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.